Hi guys, this is Snow. It's been a while. It's been almost 2 months since my last video. As I posted in the community tab, I was really busy at work, but finally I got some free time, so I decided to resume this tutorial. So last time we finished creating the inventory system, so now we can pick up items, use them, and equip them. In this video we implement projectiles. So actually this wasn't in my roadmap, but since many of you guys seem to be interested in projectile implementation, so I decided to squeeze it in this program as well. So if you are interested, please watch. But first of all, I want to update our code a little bit. I received this comment. While the monsters this animation is running, it reduces our health if we touch it. Yes, this is true, and yes, I agree, it's a bit strange, so let's fix this. First, open this entity class. Dying animation, I think. Yeah, so first delete this line. Yeah, come to think of it, we didn't really need this line because the dying state will be set false anyway when we create a new monster. So delete this line and then open this player class and okay, here contact monster. So we add one more condition: gp.monster i.dying equal false. So if monster is dying, if it's true, then basically you don't receive any damage. Okay, let's check. Okay. Okay, so now player doesn't receive any damage from dying monsters. That's the update, so let's take care of new stuff, projectile. And this time I'm gonna implement a fireball, so player can cast a magic spell and attack monsters by throwing a fireball. But that said, you can use exactly the same mechanics and shoot other projectiles too, such as arrows, bullets, or throwing axe or something. So the mechanics is identical, so fireball is just an example. And first we create a class in this entity package, projectile. This extends entity. So this is a subclass of this entity, and we create two methods for now: public void set and a public void update. And this class is okay for now. Now we create a fireball object class inside of this object package. New class obj fireball. And this is a little different. So this class extends not entity but projectile. So a projectile is a subclass of entity. So this fireball class is also a subclass of entity and can access all the stuff in the entity class, but its direct parent is this projectile class. Because these projectiles are flying objects, so we handle a bit differently from other entities such as monsters or NPCs. I think it's doable to merge everything in this entity class, but simply put, I didn't construct this class with projectiles in mind, so if I try to merge everything, I'll have to rewrite a lot and to be honest, I don't want to do that at this point, so I created this, kind of a middle class between object and entity, so we can handle projectile specific stuff, while leaving entity relatively untouched. So let's create this Fireball class. First, game panel, gp, this.gp, call gp. Okay, name, Fireball. I don't know. I'm not sure if we really need this name, but yeah, just in case. And then speed, we set speed like 5. So this is how fast it can fly. And then max life, I'm gonna set 80. And life equal max life. Okay, and okay, attack like 2. And also, okay, and we're gonna create a few more variables in this entity. Public int max mana, public int mana, public projectile, also one more, public int use cost. So this is the cost to shoot a projectile. Okay, back to this Fireball class and set use cost. I'm gonna set 1. So this means you spend 1 mana to cast this spell. And also set alive state. Default is false. And then get image. Get image. And I prepared these Fireball images, and I think I create a package because yeah, it has 8 images. So projectile. So let's copy. Yeah, like usual. That one. Okay, yeah, like this. So like always, we import these images and scale them to the tile size. Now, how to shoot this projectile? So let's assign a key for shooting. So open this key handler. Okay, first we're gonna add one more boolean here. Shot key pressed or something. And okay, inside of this play state method. So you can assign any key, and I use F key this time because it's right next to D key and kinda easy to press. So if you press F key, then shot key pressed equal true. And also make sure to add this to this key released too. So if F key was released, this boolean is false. Okay, this key handler is done. Now go to this game panel, and we create another array list entity projectile list, new array list. Okay, Okay, so let's shoot a fireball. In this player class, inside of this set default values, we set a projectile for this character. Yeah, like here. Projectile equal new obj fireball gp. So this projectile is this one. We created in this entity. So this means the player character has this fireball skill at the beginning of the game, in this case. Alright, then go to this update method. We handle that shot key pressed boolean. So outside of this if statement, so yeah, like here, if gp.key.shot key pressed equal true. And okay, also at one more condition, and projectile dot alive equal false. This means you cannot shoot a projectile if the previous projectile is still alive. So you can shoot it only one at a time. So what's gonna happen when this key was pressed? We're gonna call projectiles set method we created earlier, and go to this projectile. So we receive several parameters. Okay, int world x, int world y, and string direction, and boolean alive, and entity user. So to shoot a fireball, we need to pass its coordinates and the direction and alive status. And if the player is the only character that uses this projectile, then you don't need this parameter. But if you want to let other characters, such as monsters, also use projectiles, then you need this parameter. So yeah, from this player class, we pass the parameter. So we're gonna pass player's world x and the world y, and also player's direction, and alive status is true. So projectile becomes alive, and entity user, so user is this player. And okay, projectile, okay, first we create this user, and we receive these parameters here. And also finally this dot life equal this dot max life. Yeah, so make sure to reset the life to the max. Okay, then let it move just like other characters in this update. Okay, so yeah, this part is also the same, but here's the difference. Life minus minus, and if life equal or less than 0, then alive status is pulse. So once you shoot a projectile, so it gradually loses its life, and when it hits 0, the projectile disappears. Otherwise it flies forever. So in this case we set 80 to this fireball's life, and it loses 1 every game loop. So after 80 game loops or 80 frames, it disappears. And back to this player class. So after setting these parameters, we add this projectile to the array list. gp.projectile list dot add projectile. This needs to be public. Sorry, public. Yeah, so we add this projectile to this array list. Okay, so now we handle this projectile list. So go to the game panel, and okay, in this update, and it's pretty similar to this monster for loop, so I think I'm gonna copy and paste. Projectile list dot size, projectile list dot get height, list get height, get height dot alive. And we don't need this one, dying state, because projectiles don't have this dying state. So, and okay, copy this. P. Also this one. And okay, here, yeah, instead of this equal null, we type like this: projectile list dot remove I. So if this projectile is not alive, then we're gonna remove it from the list. Okay, then in this paint component, okay, let me copy this and paste. Projectile list size. Yeah, like this. So we add what's inside of this list, projectile list, to this entity list one by one. So the projectiles in the list will be rendered on the screen. Okay, that's everything in this game panel. Also, I created this kind of burning sound effect. So I'm gonna add this burning, and okay, add this sound effect. Burning. So when players shoot a fireball, we're gonna play this sound effect. SEM. Alright, I think we can shoot a fireball now, so let's check. Alright. I'm gonna press F key. Yeah. Like this. So as you can see, the fireball disappears after a while, after 80 frames. If you think that's shorter or longer, so you can adjust its life value. Also, you can change its speed. Yeah, like 10. Yeah, so it flies faster. But still, there is still no heat detection yet, so let's take care of that next. Okay, projectile. Okay, in this update method, we check collision. And first we need to know who shot this projectile. So if it's player, we check monster collision. And if it's a monster, we check player collision. So to check that, we're gonna create this if statement. User equal gp.player or else, or I don't know, user not equal gp.player, or we can just use else, but yeah, anyway. Okay, so user is this user, so we got it from here, and here we're gonna check if this, you know, fireball or whatever projectile hits a monster. So check entity, I think, entity, and pass this gp.monster, and then okay, monster index not equal 999. Then we're gonna call player dot damage monster, I think, monster index, and then we're gonna change this alive state to false. So yeah, so like this. So like usual, we check monster collision and get an index, and if the index is not 999, it means a projectile hit a monster, so we call this damage monster method in the player class. So damage monster is this one. Yeah, so we can handle damage. And finally we change this projectile's alive state to false, because once it hits a monster, the projectile dies. But the problem is the damage that this projectile gives is different from the damage that the player gives with his melee weapon. Right now, you know, this attack is based on player's strength and his weapon. So we want to different value to calculate projectile damage. So in this case, this one. So we're gonna add one more parameter to this damage monster method. So int attack, and okay, so we are getting an error here. Yeah, so from here we're gonna pass, yeah, just attack. So this is a melee damage, and from here projectile, so we also pass attack from here as well, but this is a different attack. This is a parent class of fireball class. So in this case we are passing 2 to this damage monster method. So this way we can differentiate the damage we give. Yeah, okay, let's check. So melee damage, we give 1 damage. Okay, let's cast fireball. So now we, yeah, see, we give 2 damage. Yeah. And also, as a final touch, we add one more thing, because actually there is a little bug in the current system. Did you see? Did you see? he shot 2 fireballs. So yeah, when you shoot a fireball and hit a monster at pretty close distance, the player immediately shoots another fireball. I only pressed F key one time, but it still happens. So that's because the current condition to shoot a fireball is press this key, and also this fireball is not alive. And basically you cannot shoot another fireball while this is alive. We set it alive here. But if the fireball hits a monster, this becomes false again. So if you are still touching the F key, the player immediately shoot another one. So this is not good as a game, I think. So let's fix it. So to fix this, we're gonna create one more variable in this entity class, public int shot available counter. And okay, player like here, if shot available counter is less than, for example, like 30, then shot available counter plus plus, and add the condition here, and shot available counter equal 30, then you can shoot another fireball. So basically we created a timer. So if you shoot a fireball, you cannot shoot another one for the next 30 frames. So this prevents you from shooting 2 fireballs. And okay, also shot available counter. We're gonna reset this counter once we shoot a fireball. Okay, let's check. I think it is fixed now. It's kind of hard to check this bug, but I think, yeah, I think it was fixed. So now you only shoot one fireball even if you are very close to a monster. Yeah, that's it. So that's the basic projectile mechanics. That said, right now, only player can shoot projectiles, and I think it would be more interesting if some monsters also shoot projectiles. So let's handle that next.